Thank you so much, Doctor, for making it out of the session you had. It was stressful, we know, but you said a lot of thought-provoking things. I know you chaired that session. You were able to get different perspective from different sectors of the fintech. But leaving that aside, I want you to tell me about yourself and as well, the corporation or company you work for.
Okay, thank you really, Brother Mudathir, for having me on this interview. I'm Dr. MUSTAPHA ISHAQ, and three words really to keep things simple, sort of define me professionally. One is Islamic finance, the other is financial econometrics, and the third is digital innovation. And this is what I've been doing all this while until recently when I started with the fast growing non-interest bank in Nigeria called Taj Bank. And there I juggle between product development position and risk management. And I've been finding it very interesting. It's as though this is the brim box of Islamic non-interest financial service offering. And besides that, I have previous engagement advising financial technology companies on how to navigate the Islamic finance offering to, of course, subscribers to such services.
Absolutely.
And in addition to that, I convene a community of Islamic finance, or shall I say, finance experts and enthusiasts who are keen and interested in Islamic financial service offering, and that's called IF Chamber, the Islamic Finance Chamber, of course, alongside a couple of wonderful renowned Islamic finance experts across the globe.
That's wonderful. I see you as you mentioning three things. It's so interesting, and those are the first time I'll be hearing it. Second one is the econometrics you mentioned. It's great, but that's interesting. So I imagine the state that you were in when you received the letter of this conference, and you opened it and you saw towards just transition. What came into your mind immediately?
This is quite an interesting question. I didn't see that coming. But then I must say, really, it's a combination of things. And I had to read through the fine details, in fact, request some additional details just to know which perspective would be most relevant to discuss during the conference, which perspective is most akin to what the organizers of this conference had in mind. Because it's so huge and complex, yet simple in words, towards a just transition. What exactly are we talking about here? There's quite a lot to unpack from that. Are we looking at the perspective of a financial system or an economic system that is built up upon some theories that are no longer applicable to our modern reality? Or are we looking at, and we're looking at a transition from that? Or we're looking at a system that is guided by some individuals whose motive is not inherently for humanity's sake. Rather, it's selfish interest that is driving this system. So I'm looking at a transition for that, because this sort of transition was what I signed up for close to a decade ago when I chose to pursue a learning or expertise in Islamic economics and Islamic finance. But then many things have changed from the moment I was in school to the moment I got into advanced set of learning circles, and we're looking at practical application of an alternative system. But yeah, while talking about that, all of a sudden there's a technological boom that sort of disrupts the whole thing, and that sort of has taken us off balance in a way where it hasn't been handled properly. But where it has been embraced properly, quite squarely and nicely, it has rather spoiled because of that transition. So are we looking at that technological transition, or the more recent sort of transition that has come about as a result of concern for our environment, which has to do with climate change, drought cases, famine, and global warming and whatnot, and the rest of it? Or would I say the social transition of ESG? So environmental is one transition. Are we looking at the social transition? Which exactly are we talking about? So what comes to my mind really in a host of so many pockets of things, and each of them, quite honestly, is a worthy focus on its own. So I must commend at this point the organizers and the team behind it for putting together all these thoughts in such simple words. And from day one to the last or till this moment, the conference themes, the discussions have been able to touch on each of these sort of transitions. So if I'm to sum up, I think the conference has been just to the theme
I mean,
towards a just
this
transition.
this is wonderful. I love when you, I mean, articulate what your thoughts were, and you were able to, I mean, bring that to the conference, and I mean, you got justified.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So that is wonderful to hear. And I would just have one more question to ask you.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen the disruptive nature, I mean, in terms of what technology have done to the industry. I mean, came in, shake everybody, shake the industry, corporations. Will you say that technology has really worked in favor of our country, Nigeria, in terms of, I mean, a lot of factors? But I would want you to look at it from the perspective of the masses, the financially, I mean, not enabled masses. I mean, has technology been able to do that? Because when they say destructive, has it been able to do that from your own perspective?
Quite honestly, I think technology, so far in recent terms, um, has been a very significant force for good for humanity in general. Of course, there are some exceptional use cases that are against this proposition. We've
Yeah,
seen technology used
yeah,
against to develop weapons that are being used to massacre people across the world. Take example of the Palestinian Muslims in
yeah,
Gaza. Forgive me
yeah.
for bringing that into
No,
the
it's
conversation,
good. It's good.
but just have to mention that.
Yeah.
However, focus for Nigeria, I've never seen a time that Nigerians are able to adopt financial services at such a wide scale and at such depth than now that technology comes into play. Upon a time, you want to recharge your mobile phone,
Yeah.
you have to go out and buy some tickets from which you scratch. But this day, you don't find anything of that nature because everyone can easily dial a code and they
Yeah.
get recharged. Everyone easily have access to their money without necessarily having to go to the bank. And it's help us understand that we could actually lead a better life that transcend the confines of space and the confines of time thanks to technology.
Yeah.
So I don't have to rush at work or from school to catch up with the bank, for instance, to do a financial transaction because, hey, I've gotten my ATM card, so I don't have to go there. And I don't have to rush before nightfall to do a transaction with my ATM card because the ATM runs 24 hours. And even if the ATM does not run 24 hours, I could wake up in the middle of the night. I don't have to go out of my house and do my transaction on my mobile phone. So, yes, technology has indeed been a very strong force for good and it has improved the financial lifestyle of most Nigerians.
I mean,
Although, yes, more work needs to be done, to be honest. The access is grossly limited.
yeah,
Looking at the size of our population, we still need to do some more work
yeah,
there
yeah.
in laying pipelines or infrastructure necessary to bring more people into the fold. But besides that, I think it has been really, really helpful.
I mean, great perspective you've actually brought out there. I mean, using that, I mean, relatable example. I mean, it's so great, and I really appreciate you for doing that. So, thank you so much, Doctor, for being on this wonderful, I mean, interview with me. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Really
It's a
appreciate it.
pleasure,
I
really.
hope when I call again, you answer me.
For Mudathir, I can say any day, anytime.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank you.
indeed. Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.